Hi YouTubers, it's Smoke Nessie, Summer again for today. So, I'm in the garage again for the, well, can you tell? It's going to be the fact video. Okay, so I'm doing the fact video right now, the frequent asked questions video. I'm recording my iPad. If worst case scenario, this iPad battery, whatever, dies, I'll have to go into my room and use my camcorder. Anyway, so I'm going to be lighting up my smoke right now. It's going to be a big-ass cigar, Flor de Olivia. It's going to be, I'll be drinking some wine. And it's 24 years old. Disclaimer off the bat, a lot of things are going on right now. It's really windy outside, even though I'm in the garage right now. There's a lot of pollen blowing around, so excuse me if my throat's a little dry right now. Excuse me if my nose is a little runny, because there's a ton of pollen blowing around, and it's really, really windy, and the oil burner might come on. So, if you like the video, watch the video. If you don't like the video, don't watch the video. Anyway, so I do have right here the fact questions. These are the frequently asked questions about cigars, right here. And let me say I got a lot. Let me tell you right now, I got a lot of questions about cigars over the last 2 weeks. I'm glad I only did it for 2 weeks because I got, I believe, 84 questions. So yeah, this video is going to be very long, and hopefully my iPad will record the whole video. Hopefully it will record the entire video, because if it doesn't record the entire video, I'll have to break it up into parts and record it on my my camcorder also. But hopefully it will record it all parts, all one part, and yeah. So right now I'm going to fire up my cigar, and yeah, and we are going to start the video right now. First thing we're going to do is obviously light my cigar. And I'm not even going to bother toasting it because it's so windy. I know a lot of people say, well, toasting a cigar makes cigar taste better, Smoking SE. Why don't you do it? Reason being, it's so windy outside right now that I'm not even sure if inside I could light this. Okay. Whew. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna... I may have to actually, for a sec, just step in the back of the garage to light it because it's so windy. Literally, there is gusts of wind coming into the garage. I'm actually going to do that right now. Hold on one sec. Okay, so I apologize for that. I was just lighting the cigar. Honestly, it's so windy right now. I would be lucky if I could toast this in 15 minutes, probably. So, anyway, got my cigar lit. So let's get some questions. I do apologize for that abrupt intro. It's just very, very windy in the garage right now because of the I'm not sure. It's just very windy. Anyway, I'm drinking some Merlot wine, and yes, I'm 24 years old for the last time. I don't have to keep saying it. I'm 24 years old. Okay, that's good. So yeah, okay. Let's see. Let's get into the questions. The questions right now. Okay, first question. And there's no order really of people who ask these questions. I'm going to list who asked the questions. I'm just going to read off the questions, and I kind of, for the Word document, I kind of simplified them. I corrected some grammar and spelling for the questions, and I broke them up more accurately. So, again, if you like the video, watch the video. If you don't like the video, don't watch the video. It's really your choice of who's watching the video, and that's you. Okay. Let's see. Okay, first question. Hi, Smoking SE787. Some questions for your fact video 4 about cigars. Why do cigars get moldy? Okay, so he's asking why cigars get moldy. The reason why cigars get moldy can be a lot of things. Number one, they can just come moldy in the store or the B&M or from the factory, or they can get moldy in your humidor. A lot of these questions are very complex and they have to do with storage and humidors, that kind of stuff. So, the reason why a cigar can get moldy in your humidor is, number one, if your humidor is too humid, if it's, say, above 75, above 80, humidity, RH, relative humidity, or number two, if it's too hot in your humidor, meaning temperature-wise. So, if it's above 75, above 80, whatever. In general, you want to keep your humidor at about 65 to 70 degrees RH, which means relative humidity, and about 65 to 70 degrees for temperature. If you go above that, if you go above 70 to 75 is good. It's a very good temperature. 75 to 80 is considered doable. The point is, the higher you go with temperature in cigars, you are increasing your risk of not only mold, but beetles also, cigar beetles. I'm going to be getting to that later. So, really, that's one of the reasons your cigars can go moldy, is if the temperature in the humidor is too hot or too humid. And he asks, is it safe to smoke moldy cigars? No. Once the cigar is moldy, if the mold on the cigar is on this part right here, the wrapper part, you can wipe it off with your fingers. If you see the mold, the fungus, because mold is a fungus. Mold is a fungal thing. And if you see the mold on the part right here, that means the mold is in the inner part of the cigar. Throw it out. Once the cigar gets moldy, you want to chuck it. Even if the cigar costs you like $20, you want to chuck it, because mold is a fungus. And when smoked and burnt, you can actually, smoking is not healthy to begin with, but if you smoke something that has mold in it, you can actually develop bronchitis or pneumonia. So you definitely, any cigar that's moldy, you want to throw away, no matter how much it costed you. Okay. Number 2, what is cigar dust? Cigar dust basically can be a couple things. It can go back to mold. It can also be dust from beetles. So if you have tobacco beetles, which again are caused by your humidor being too hot or too humid, whatever, you can develop cigar beetles in your humidor. These are little tiny little beetles, about this big, that will actually eat away your cigars. They will actually eat your tobacco and eat your cigars. And they're not dangerous, but like mold, but they will eat your tobacco, and you will see dust in your humidor from where the cigar beetles have been eating your cigars, and it destroys the cigars. And he also asks, how long before cigars start to get cigar dust, even if they're in wrappers? Well, if you don't have beetles, which you shouldn't, you should be keeping your humidor at 65, 70 degrees, 72 degrees, whatever, RH, and also temperature. You shouldn't have cigar beetles. Dust might be from an old humidor, antique humidor, I'm not sure. But I'm not really sure. cigar dust, I tried to look it up, but there's not a whole lot of stuff on cigar dust. In general, I wouldn't worry about cigar dust. If you have beetles, you definitely need to take care of it and put the cigar. If you have beetles in your humidor, you need to take your cigars, put them in the freezer for 3 to 5 days, then put them in the refrigerator for 3 to 5 days, then return them to your humidor. And the cigars that are badly damaged, you need to throw out. But cigar dust, it's just, I don't know, it's not a big deal though. Question number 3. What do you think of cheaper cigars like Backwoods? They're not bad. I mean, I've smoked a lot of, I'm sure you've seen a lot of gas station cigar reviews. On my channel, I reviewed Black & Mild, Swisher Sweets, Garcia Game, all that kind of stuff. The thing about cheap cigars like Backwoods is they're using machine-made tobacco. They're basically putting the tobacco in a hopper, chopping up, and spitting out. With premium cigars, long filler premium cigars, they're using actual fermented tobacco that's been soaked in bales for years. And they're using longer filler and better quality. The tobacco that's in gas station cigars is kind of like cheeseburgers compared to filet mignon. You know, steak compared to cheeseburgers. It's like comparing like wine to cheap booze. So, fine wine to cheap booze. It's like, they're not bad, just be aware. Some of them are really nasty. I mean, some of them, like the Game cigars, are really, excuse me, kind of nasty. And they're really not worth much more than 25 cents. And they're usually, honestly, a lot of times, the reason why you'll see a lot of younger people smoking them is because they're used to roll blunts. They're used to roll marijuana cigars. And they're used for drug paraphernalia. That's a lot of times why younger people will be smoking them. Let's see, question number 4. What is the best mild cigar for smokers who don't like a lot of strength? Really, there's no one answer to this. You could like a cigar that's mild, tastes great to you, and it's like asking what your favorite food is. So, a cigar that tastes, for example, I could smoke a cigar and say it tastes like absolute crap, and you could smoke the same cigar and say it tastes like absolute heaven. I could smoke the same cigar and say it tastes like great, best cigar in the market. You could smoke it and say it tastes like shit. There's no one answer. It depends on your personal taste, your personal palate, your personal tongue. So, everyone's tastes are different. Some people like sweet, sugary cigars. Some people like strong, knock your ass off cigars. So, no one answer. Question number 5. What is the best, smoothest cigar you've ever had? No one answer. Let's see. Yeah, no one answer to this question. I think a lot of the Padron cigars have been extremely smooth and very, very high quality, though they're very expensive. Maybe a Davidoff I had a long time ago was good like that. But, again, it's like asking what your favorite food is. Let's see. Question number 6. Can you smoke too much cigars so that you throw up? Have you? I've gotten sick on cigars, like really buzz, like jittery. I've never thrown up. You can. If you really, really smoke a cigar fast, and it has a lot of nicotine from a lot, like Lajaro tobacco, you can throw up. I've never thrown up. I have gotten very dizzy and lightheaded. I've come close to throwing up. I believe the closest I came to actually throwing up, which means your stomach contents going up your esophagus and going into your mouth and throwing up, was a La Flor Dominicana cigar several years ago. Yeah, about 4 years ago. I just smoked it too fast, and it was not burning right, so I should have relight it, but I smoked it too fast and I almost threw up. I have gagged. I have accidentally inhaled the smoke, and I have come close to throwing up. I've never thrown up, but you can. If you smoke a cigar really fast and you really inhale a lot of smoke, which you shouldn't be doing, you can definitely throw up. Question number 7. What's the best beer to drink with cigars? That's called pairing. Pairing is, again, it's like where your favorite food is. Some people will like wine, beer, hard liquor with cigars. Some people will like copper ales, whatever, I don't know. It's like, there's no one answer to a lot of these things. For example, myself, I like usually wine or beer or mixed drinks with a cigar. But it all depends on your personal preference. It's like asking what your favorite food is. Question number 8. Can you freeze cigars to make them retain their freshness? No. Freezing cigars you should never do. A lot of people say, well, you should put your tobacco in the fridge. You should put your tobacco in the freezer. Never, ever, 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 ever do that. Putting tobacco in the fridge, with the exception of dipping tobacco, will ruin your tobacco. It will literally destroy your tobacco, your cigars and pipe tobacco. The only time you want to expose your cigars to cold air, like a freezer or a fridge or a deep freeze, is when you have beetles. So if you believe you've been attacked by cigar beetles, you have to put them in a freezer or a deep freeze, and then into a refrigerator, and then back in your humidor. But don't keep your cigars in the fridge. It's a very common myth. These things are spread between newbies, people who just started smoking cigars. They'll say, oh, you have to put your tobacco in the fridge unless it'll mold. No, you don't. So same with pipe tobacco. Again, the only time you want to put tobacco in the fridge is if you're dipping, or chewing. Question number 9. What do you think about sweet cigars? They're good. I like sweet cigars. I used to smoke acid cigars a lot. Not acid the drug, but not LSD, but acid cigars, as in the acid Cuba Cuba, the acid Blondie Vallecoso. I used to smoke them a lot. They're actually really good. Flavored cigars are good. They're not bad. Whew. Got smoke in my face. So, yeah, sweet cigars are generally flavored cigars, or they're cigars that have a lot of sweetness. They're good. Question number 10. How long do you think it'll take before Cuba starts importing into the U.S.? Well, currently not legal advice, but you can actually go to Cuba now and bring back up to $100 of alcohol and tobacco. How long will it be before they start selling Cuban cigars in the stores? I'm not sure. Could be a year, could be 10 years, could be 100 years. Nobody knows. Really windy. Let's see. Question number 11. Do you think the big boys of the industry who smoke $50, $100, $500 every day are wasting them, missing out, not doing a good thing? I have lots of other questions, but I'll hold on to them for a little bit. Okay. I kind of broke these questions up into different paragraphs. People who smoke, $20, $30, $40, $50 cigars, $100 cigars, it's your choice. I mean, as long as you're not stealing the cigars, it's your choice. Some people are willing to spend a lot of money on a cigar. I occasionally will spend a lot of money. But the big difference is whether you're buying for a good quality cigar or you're buying for brand name. With Davidoff, Crown Series, Zeno cigars, and Fuente, and some degree Fuente, whatever, like Opus X's, what you're paying for is brand name. You're paying for that fancy-ass cigar. With Padron, in general, you're paying for quality. You're paying for a good quality cigar. Sorry, I just have a little bit of a stomach ache. You're paying for a good quality cigar. I don't pay for cigars just so they look cool. I don't try to impress anybody. I smoke what I like. Something could look absolutely horrible and taste great, I would still smoke it. Because I'm smoking for my tongue, not your nose. I'm smoking for my tongue, not your enjoyment. So, cigars that are, very expensive are good as long as they're worth it. Padron is worth it because they're putting, a decade of work to making the cigar. Opus X's are crap. No offense, but they burn like crap, they smoke like crap, and they're not worth the money because all you're paying for that brand name. Same with Davidoff, to some extent. Anyway, that's my opinion on that. Question number 12. Have you ever smoked Cuban cigar in the USA? They are illegal. Why are they so good? I've smoked a couple Cuban cigars. I believe I had a Cuban cigar in Canada that I had somebody, I won't mention his name, send me a few Cubans through the mail. So, I did do a couple reviews. You can watch them. I think I made most of them private, just because it's technically not legal. So I've never heard of anyone actually getting in trouble. But so I have had maybe just over half a dozen Cubans. They're not any different than regular cigars. Unless you're talking about a $30 Cuban cigar with a bottle of 10-age wine, 10-year wine, there's no difference. Cuban cigars, the thing about them is they have a smoother, distinct taste. It's very distinct, and you'll know immediately when you're tasting it. There's really no difference. It's like, the old story of Adam and Eve. Why didn't Adam and Eve eat the apple in the forbidden tree? Because it was a forbidden fruit. The reason people have such idea about Cuban cigars, with some exceptions here and there, is because they're a forbidden fruit. So, nothing religious or anything. But, point is, unless you're talking about a $30, $50 Cuban cigar that's been aged for 15 years, 20 years, there's no difference. At least in my opinion. 13, okay, question 13. Hey man, how long has a cool fellow like you been smoking cigars? I've been smoking cigars for just over 6 years, regularly, like every single day, for a couple of years. Crap. And the ash had me on the sock, and I'm wearing nice dress socks from work, so, shit. Okay. Okay, hopefully my dress socks can be washed, because I don't want these to be ruined with cigar ash. Okay. Okay, question 14. And what are the pros and cons of mini-filtered cigars? Mini-filtered cigars, also known as little cigars, are basically just budget cigarettes. The companies are just renaming them as budget, as cigars, air quote cigars, either number one, to get around the Obama's law on flavored tobacco, on flavored cigarettes, or number two, to, in Massachusetts we pay $10 a pack for cigarettes, to sell them for $5 a pack. Either for tax evasion or for the flavored cigarette law that passed in 2009. In general, the mini flavored cigars, or little cigars, they're just crap, really. DeJarms are good, though. I had DeJarms a couple years ago, and they were really good. It's windy. Let's see. Good gigs, man. Thank you. Thanks for the fantastic videos. Okay, question 15. Hi, Smoking SC77. Here are a few questions so far. If I think of more, I will add them. Number 1. What is Maduro, and how are Maduro cigars different from natural wrapper cigars? Maduro is basically a wrapper. A lot of people think when you look at a cigar, oh, a dark cigar is going to be strong. No, it's not. Oh, a light cigar is going to be really mild. No, it's not. Basically, a Maduro cigar is a cigar that's grown in direct sunlight. A light-colored cigar like this is grown and shade. So, so the difference is, it's just a different color of tobacco leaf. It's like a plant, and tobacco is a plant. The main difference is Maduro cigars have a little bit more age on them in general, and they have a little bit different taste. Actually, they can taste very different than the natural versions. And most companies will produce a natural and Maduro version, and sometimes even a Oscuro version, which is a darker Maduro. And then in between, like Habano. 16. Do you prefer Maduro or natural cigars? In general, I have no preference. 17. How can you rehydrate stale cigar? You can't. Once the cigar goes dry, it's not like pipe tobacco. Pipe tobacco you can rehydrate if you're careful. If you're very careful about mold, you can rehydrate pipe tobacco safely. A cigar, you can't. Once it's gone dry, chuck it. You can try to smoke it, but chuck it. 18. What is your favorite length and shape of a cigar? In general, something like this. I don't like big, fat-ass cigars. They're useless filler. I don't like really tight little cigars. They look like, I won't say it. So, but, yeah, I like a cigar like this. Like, small ring gauge, pretty long length, hour-long lasting, that kind of stuff. By this I mean, do you prefer Robustos, Bellicosas, Torpedos, etc.? I would say Churchills. I like Churchills the best. Let's see. 19. Do you prefer to use a cutter or a punch when you cut your cigars? I have never used a punch. I've always used a cutter. A cutter, and then when I first started smoking cigars, I used toothpicks. And cutter is the best. If you use a cutter or 21. What do you think of Rocky Patel cigars? Rocky Patel is a great brand. They are a great brand, a lot of variety, and they are not bad cigars. They are very cheap, very affordable. Of course, in Massachusetts, we pay out our ass in tobacco taxes, so you really can't compare our taxes to the South, to Pennsylvania and Florida. So, Rocky Patel cigars are good. Good medium-bodied cigars in general. Medium to full. What is an inexpensive and still good Rocky Patel cigar? Again, no one answer. It's like saying what your favorite food is. Let's see. Do you use distilled water or propylene glycol in your humidor? I used to use this propylene glycol, the cigar humidor fluid. Now I'm using distilled water just because it's a hell of a lot cheaper. The humidor fluid, it's flashy, it's cool looking. Honestly, it's like liquid freaking gold. It's like you're paying for gold. It's like $11 a bottle. Yeah, it might be higher quality. Who the hell cares? It's like, who the hell cares? It's like liquid freaking gold, that stuff. I don't mean to come off like a whatever, but distilled water, again, for a buck a gallon, perfect. No difference. Yeah, the propylene glycol fluid might have a little bit more anti-mold stuff, but honestly, just wash your RH and your temperature, or get a wine or whatever. So, let's see. 24. Do you like those mini cigars that are the same size as cigarettes? If I think of more, I will add soon later. Thank you. Some later. Smiley face. Okay. Mini cigars, cigarillos, I like them. They're not bad. I don't smoke the little filter cigars ever. I smoked a Djarum several years ago. The ones like the what do you call them? The cigarillos, they're not bad. It's just, they're really just kind of crappy, honestly. It's just, I prefer a handmade cigar. I spend the extra $1 or $2 to get a handmade cigar. And most people should spend $1 or $2 to get a handmade cigar. Okay, 25. This is actually the last question on the first page. Okay, let me just take a sip of my wine. Okay. Hi, Smoking SC77. HCAP Movies here, okay. That's his username. Just want to ask you just a few questions, if it's not too late. First off, what's your opinion on moths? I don't know. They're bugs. By this I mean, when you are smoking a cigar in the evening, do you find moths fluttering around near you, annoying you, distracting you, or being beautiful? No. If anything, the smoke it would irritate the moths and bugs. So, if anything, it's an irritant to them. So it would cause them to go away. Anyway, next page. Okay. Okay, let's see. Closer to the topic of smoking, I want to ask you about cigar dust. Okay, again. Now I was reading a couple of the other questions people posted and came across Rob's question about cigar dust. I, up to now, was not aware of such a thing, but this raises some concern for me. Is cigar dust something that can be potentially hazardous? Should I be checking my cigars for dust? Again, obviously if there's cigar dust, you might be breathing in, obviously that's not healthy. And that's like wood dust. It can actually cause cancer. So, and cigars can cause cancer also. But the point is, if you see dust in your humidor, you could have beetles. You could have cigar beetles. If you do have beetles, take care of them. But if you just see a little bit of dust on your cigar, sorry, he's cracking my knuckles, just wipe it off. I wouldn't be that concerned about it. If your cigars are falling apart, chuck them. And lastly, is secondhand cigar dust something I should be careful of when I'm around my dog? Okay, when you're around your dog, obviously secondhand smoke or secondhand anything is not good for pets, animals, humans, organisms. So just don't smoke or don't be around your, I'm really not sure what cigar dust really even is. If any of you could comment below and say what exactly you're talking about. Are you talking about the dust in a humidor, or are you talking about the dust with a cigar? I'm not sure. Honestly, it could be beetles, but I'm not sure. One last question for now. Excuse me. If you had to pick just one, who is your favorite tobacco reviewer in the YouTube tobacco community? For cigars, it would be Brian Glenn, CigarObsession.com. Great reviewer, very accurate, for the most part, and very good channel. I've been subscribed to him for over 4 years now. Definitely check him out. It's CigarObsession.com, one word. Definitely check him out. Big shout out to him. Great cigar reviewer. He is 10 times better than I am. 28. How many cigars do you smoke a day? 1. In general, 1. If I'm at my cigar lounge, maybe 2. The most I've ever smoked is 3. 29. What's the best cheap cigar you've ever had? Again, it's asking your favorite food. I have no one favorite cigar. 30. What's the most expensive cigar you've had, and was it worth it for the price? The most expensive cigar I ever paid for was, I believe, let me see, it was a Padron 80 year. So the Padron 80 year, honestly, not worth the money. It's worth probably $20, but it's not worth $40. I paid $40 for it. So, yeah. The Padron 80 year is a very good cigar, not worth the money. Very bad shape. It's a Perfecto, like a double torpedo shape. Not good. But it is a very good cigar. It's just not worth the money. Personally, I would prefer the number 9 or number 6 or the 50 years in a larger size, if that existed. 31. Hi, Smoking SC77. Just a few questions running through my head that I hope you can clear up in your upcoming Fact 4 video. What's facts, man? You're the facts, man. Ha ha ha. That's weird. Okay, he's just joking around. So, anyway, I'm smoking my new big ass cigar that you recommended, and I was wondering, what was the biggest cigar you ever smoked? Biggest cigar I ever smoked was the same brand as this. It was a Flor de Olivia, except it was a giant. It was a 10 by 66, so it was a 10 inches long, and it was a 66 ring gauge, so it looked like a giant version of this. And it was actually really not that bad. Lasted for, I believe, 2.5 hours. Also, I smoked a Davidoff. It was really big also, and a couple of Padrones. How long was the smoke? Oh yeah, it was about 2.5 hours. The longest I've ever smoked a cigar for, the longest I've ever smoked for in one sitting was almost, well, like 2 hours, 30 minutes, 2 hours, 40 minutes. And that was a Davidoff cigar that was like almost $40. So, let's see. And is there such a thing as a cigar being too big, long? Is it the bigger the better when it comes to cigars? I would say in general, it's your personal taste. Some people don't like long smokes. Some people don't have the time because of work or whatever. I don't. I have a lot of free time right now, so I like both. Also, would you recommend storing your cigars underneath upturned floorboards during the upcoming warm summer months? Under floorboards? That's the first time I've heard that. No. If you cannot store the cigars in a cool room during the summer if you don't have AC, what you need to do is get a wine ador. A wine cooler turned into a wine ador. So, if you have AC, you're fine. If you have central AC in your house, that's fine. We don't. My family does not, so I use a wine ador during the summertime. I basically have turned essentially a wine cooler, a wine fridge into a wine ador. And that keeps my cigars at a good humidity. No, I would not say storing them under the floorboards. Let's see. Do your parents smoke? No. My dad quit smoking over 20 years ago, and my mom quit smoking over 20 years ago. Let's see. Do they have any worries about your smoking? Are they supportive of your smoking hobby? My mom is not fond of it. My mom doesn't really like the fact that I smoke. My dad doesn't really care. But I'm 24. I'm an adult, so I can make my own choices. How can you remove pesky cigar dust stains from things like linens, tank tops, or Birkenstocks? Cigar dust, again, I'm not really sure what you're talking about, but I would say wash it on hot, wash it on extra hot, the cigar stuff, the clothes. If that doesn't work, you may have to use bleach, so use bleach, but I'm not really sure. In general, if you don't like the smell of cigar smoke on your clothes, don't smoke cigars. Do you know if pets can inhale cigar dust? Again, I'm not really sure the cigar dust questions. I'm not really sure. In general, keep your cigars in a humidor or a wine ador or a coolador or a tupperware, and just make sure there's not. I mean, obviously, you don't want your cigars just sitting around in like a little box with dust flying everywhere. So, obviously it's a health concern, but keep your cigars in a nice humidor. Spend a little bit extra money. Don't be a cheap ass and buy a little antique box. Spend extra $50 and buy a nice humidor or wine ador. Do you have any pets? Yeah. I currently have 2 cats. We lost our cat last summer due to a coyote. And I lost my dog a few years ago to just like really old age. So I have one cat who is 18 years old, and one cat who is 4 years old, or 5 years old. Sorry, 5 years old. see. Would you think it would be interesting to teach a parrot how to smoke a cigar? I've heard of monkeys smoking cigars, chimpanzees. I've never heard of a parrot. I'm not sure if it would be possible because they don't have fingers. So I've heard of chimpanzees and maybe even gorillas smoking cigars. Never heard of a parrot. Would you ever grow your own tobacco? No. I'm the kind of person who would just rather pay the premium. I'm not a cheap ass. I would rather just pay the premium on cigar taxes. And I buy online, so I don't pay sales tax. So, anyway. If so, what strain of tobacco would you grow? Again, I wouldn't grow my own cigars. I would just pay the price. I don't mind paying money. Have you ever tried the Hearth and Home meat flavored cigars? I didn't know they existed. I did not know there was a meat flavored cigar. I'll have to look it up. What's your stance on smoking a cigar after a big meal? I like to. Most smokers like to. Cigarette, cigar, and pipe smokers. Most people like to. I definitely smoke every day, a couple times a day. Both cigars and pipes. What's your stance on smoking a cigar after sexual intercourse? Not trying to get your video flagged, I promise. Just a question your other fact videos never answered. I don't have sex. I'm not sexually active right now, so I don't personally have a girlfriend. I'm straight, despite what a lot of people think on YouTube that I'm gay. I'm straight. I'm 100% straight. But I don't have a girlfriend. I'm very, very, very happy being single. I don't want a girlfriend. I would imagine it's probably pleasurable while you're smoking a cigar. Whew, this is not burning very well. I can tell you right now it's because of the wind. It's probably pleasurable to smoke a cigar after having sex. So, I know I have friends who are sexually active, so, yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Where was the first place you smoked baccy? That would be, my tobacco pipe, on my deck, my upstairs deck, in April 3rd, 2009. That was my first cigar. My first pipe. I smoked for the first time. I was 18 years old exactly. So, I started exactly when I was 18. I never smoked underage, because underage smoking is not okay. It's not legal. So, yeah. So, I smoked on my 18th birthday on my own house, my own property. Where was the wackiest place you smoked baccy? Let's see. This is a tough one. Maybe in the woods out back? Maybe, I don't know. So, let's see. Who are your favorite celebrities that smoke cigars? Winston Churchill, who's deceased. Most people who are deceased. Winston Churchill, George Burns, Sigmund Freud, Grant, Ulysses S. Grant. Let's see, yeah. That's about it. Are you against Hollywood's stance on banning cigars in all forms of media? I didn't know they were going to ban cigars in all forms of media. I did hear a few years ago that CDC was trying to make movies with smoking R-rated, but I think you can still smoke in movies, but you may have to pay more to smoke in movies. I'm not against it. I think it's freedom of press. Okay, this is gonna fall off. Okay. Let's see. Okay. What was the tangiest cigar you ever smoked? Tangiest would probably have to be that Diesel Hair of the Dog Bellicosa I smoked last summer. That was really, really vinegar tasting. Tastes like straight vinegar. And don't be smart, I actually haven't drank vinegar. So, it tastes like vinegar chips, like salt and vinegar chips. Whew, it's freaking windy. Let's see. And finally it's capitalized. Sorry for the long post. Really hope you can answer all my questions. Finally, What does 787 stand for? Nothing. It was just the numbers I chose when I made my channel account. And are you going to post a special video for your 787, your 7,887th upload? Love your videos. Can't wait for the fact. I'm currently at, I believe, just over 2,600 videos, so maybe in 5 years, 10 years, or whatever, I will do a special video for that. That's years away. That's years and years away. Okay. We're at question number 52. Hello, Evan. My question for you, sir, is what made you want to start smoking cigars and pipes? I've gone over this in a series I did a long time ago, trailer going by, called My Road to Cigars, My Road to Pipes. I personally just wanted to do something special for my 18th birthday. I just wanted to smoke cigars because I was of legal age to smoke, because the smoking age in my state is 18, and I wanted to smoke cigars. And I love smoking cigars. I'll never quit. Yes, it's not healthy for you, but I really don't care. So, and I don't smoke a lot. I don't inhale. I do take it in my teeth, so I'm really not that worried about it. And I just love smoking cigars. And pipes. And tobacco pipes. Let's see. Okay, last question on page 2. Do you find it more of a hobby or a personal addiction? Good videos, bro. Both. I'd say it's a habit. I would say it's not really an addiction. I can go 10 hours with no smoking, no problem. It's just, I love doing it. I love smoking cigars. I don't inhale. I'm not addicted. But I really, really love the sensation of blowing smoke out, enjoying the flavors, and studying the cigar hobby. I don't smoke 10 cigars a day. I don't inhale. I don't sit here smoking 20 cigars a day. Anyway, next page, last page. Okay, with the last page already. Okay, let's see. How did you become so knowledgeable in cigars? Is it from first-hand experience, or is it from reading, researching, or a mixture of both? It's from both. So, I, over 6 years ago at this time of the year, I knew nothing about cigars. I would cut my cigars with a toothpick. I would smoke them like this. And not care about the flavors. I've read a lot of stuff online. Mainly YouTube has been the most reliable source. And I've really, really learned. I think when I started watching Cigar Obsession, Brian Glenn, I really, really, really learned about how to smoke cigars. He really showed me how to get the most flavor out of cigars, how to enjoy them the most. I really love cigars. What is it like having your Winador in your room? It's having a Winador in your room. There's no difference. It takes up about, maybe a couple feet of space, and it makes very little noise. It's good. I love my Winador. I love it. Keeps my cigars fresh during the summer. I use pillows personally in my Winador, so yeah. Okay. Let's see. Does it make any noise? Very little, if any. Hardly makes any noise, even when you open it. Are there any lights that shine from your room? Very, very little. A little bit in the nighttime. Like in the nighttime, but not much. Is it cold to touch? No. Inside, it's like the difference between... I mean, obviously in the hot weather, when it's like 90 degrees, it's going to feel different. It's going to be like opening a fridge or a freezer. But it's not cold, it's not uncomfortable to touch. No. Let's see. How many cigars do you keep in there on average? On average, probably 30 cigars, probably. Are you happy you've gotten it? Yes. Really, because I don't AC my house. My parents don't have central AC. My cigars in the summertime would mold, or they would have beetles. So they would hatch beetles. So I have to, until I move to move to a place with AC, I have to use a wine door because the temperature in the summertime is just too hot. It's just not safe for the cigars. That is. A few more questions. What do you think of girls smoking cigars? No different than men smoking cigars. It just looks different. What would you recommend for a girl to try for her first premium hand rolled cigar? Whatever she likes. If she likes strong cigars, try them. I mean, if it really depends. It's all based on your personal flavor and taste. So, if you like, if a girl wants to try something strong, it's the same thing as a man. In general, women, not to be sexist or anything, but women tend to like sweeter cigars. Most women tend to have a sweeter tooth, so they like sweeter cigars. But there are women who smoke very strong cigars also, and also yeah. Let's see. If you started dating a girl, she asked you to quit smoking cigars, would you give them up? I don't know. It's kind of a tough question. I have no plans in the near future of getting a girlfriend. I'm so happy being single right now. Nothing against women. I'm not sexist or anything. I'm not a misogynist, but I am very, very happy being single. I may never get married. I don't want children. I probably never want to get. I don't know. I'm straight. I'm not gay, but I'm very happy being single right now. Maybe eventually I'll have a girlfriend. If she asked me to stop, I probably would try to work out with her. Say like, okay, can I just smoke outside? Can I smoke less cigars? If she asked me to give up cold turkey, I'm not sure what I would do. Is it safe for a pregnant woman to smoke cigars since she doesn't inhale? No. Even though you're not actually inhaling cigars, I'm not a doctor, obviously. It's the same thing as chewing tobacco or dip. Even if you're not inhaling the smoke, you are still getting nicotine through your mouth. It goes into your bloodstream, which for a woman would go into the placenta and would go into the fetus. So, if you're pregnant and you're a woman, don't smoke. Give up smoking until you have your baby, and then smoke again. It's not safe for you. It's not safe for the baby. So that's one downside to being a woman and smoking. And it's one downside to if you smoke cigars. I'm not trying to be sexist, but it's one side if you are a woman who smokes cigars and wants children, is you will have to give up smoking or you should give up smoking when you are pregnant. So. But no, it's not safe. What is the best wood for humidors? Cedar, probably. I'm not really sure. Cedar would probably be the best wood. Why do cigarettes taste nasty if you have one after you smoke a premium hand-rolled cigar? I don't smoke cigarettes. I quit cigarettes a long, long, long time ago. Yeah. Let's see. I don't smoke cigarettes. For people who do smoke cigarettes, it may be due to the different tastes. Cigars are like comparing cigarettes to cigars is like comparing cheap ass beer to fine wine or $100 bottle of whiskey. For people who smoke cigarettes, I'm not sure. I just never got into cigarettes much, so I can't really say. Let's see. If you started your own cigar producing company, what kind of tobacco filler, binder, and wrapper would you use? How would you design your brand of cigar? I have no interest in doing tobacco work, being in the tobacco industry. If I did, I probably would make my company like Padron, where it would be very high quality cigars with a lot of money. I would probably blend in Nicaragua, because that's where I like the tobacco most. But yeah, I have no interest in going into the cigar business. I have thought about a long time ago, like interning in a tobacco shop, but no. Let's see. What would you call your cigar brand? EDM. That's my initials, so I would call them EDM. I'm not going to say my full name, but I would call them EDM. Do you think that the anti-smoking Nazis will ever be able to ban the production of cigars and other tobacco products, or at least the importation and manufacture them in the USA? US, no. I personally, everyone has a different opinion on this. Some people think the war on tobacco is going to happen very quickly. I think this whole war on tobacco with the anti-smoking health Nazis, it's going to drag on for the next 2 or 3 centuries, probably. I think we probably won't even see tobacco being illegal in the U.S., even talking about it, like nationwide for the next 100 years. It's going to be way beyond our lifetime. So there's a lot of groups like Truth, that say, oh, people are ending smoking. No, they're not. There's 45 million people, 50 million, 60 million people who smoke in the United States use tobacco. I don't see it being banned, at least in the next century. So tobacco's been around for thousands of years, and it's going to stay around. That's what I think, at least I hope. If you were reincarnated as a cigar, which cigar would you want to be, and what female celebrity would you want to smoke you? Cheers. That's actually really weird. Yeah. I would probably want to be a Padron cigar. I want to be smoked by a woman who is hot. I'm trying to keep this as clean as possible. Is hot, has big boobs, and is really hot and really skinny and hot. So, not going to try to get too profane, but I want these to get flagged. But yeah, a hot woman smoking a luxury cigar and whatever. So yeah. Let's see. When did you start smoking cigars again? I started smoking cigars, the same question. I already answered this already. I started smoking cigars, I would say, regularly, like every single day, within the last couple of years, within the last year and a half or so. Let's see, when did I start getting really into cigars? 2011. So the year 2011, I really got into cigars. Really got into them more. Late 2010, 2011, I had my first cheap cigar in 2009. Obviously when I was 18. I started about 2 weeks ago. They are hurting my lips. Is that normal? Yes. Smoking is irritant. I'm not a doctor. Don't sue me if you get lip cancer. It's irritant. So things you can do to reduce your risk obviously are not inhaling. You can smoke in moderation, smoke less. The less you smoke, the better. If you can smoke 1 cigar a month, that's great. If you can smoke 10 cigars a day, that's fine also. Really, you have to rinse with water after you smoke, take good care of your oral hygiene, and smoke in moderation. Don't smoke 20 cigars a day like Sigmund Freud. Smoke them in moderation, like drinking fine wine. So, but yeah, that's normal. Your lips can hurt a little bit, especially in the beginning. So, if they continue to hurt, see your dentist. If you get any kind of weird patches, weird spots, see your dentist immediately, or see your oral surgeon or head and neck surgeon. I'm not a doctor again. Could you go into a little bit more detail about cigar beetles? Yes. So cigar beetles are basically beetles. They're on the tobacco plants, and they can sometimes be in your cigars. Now, most cigars are deep frozen before they come to you. So the problem with cigar beetles is, as long as your humidors or winador, coolador is at, if it's below 60 degrees, you don't have to worry about it. If it's 65 to 70, be aware, don't over-humidify. If your humidor is at 70 to 75, be aware of it. Check your cigars regularly. If you have beetles, go into that. Excuse me. So, if you do have beetles, the best thing you can do, excuse me, is take your cigars, put them in a deep freezer or freezer for a few days, then put them in a refrigerator, and then put them back in your humidor. That's really the only thing you can do. Let's see. And if they get damaged, then they're really lost. Because what the beetles will do is eat away your cigars, and then you won't get a good draw. So, beetles aren't dangerous, they don't make you sick, but they do destroy your cigars. What are they? They are bugs. They are bugs just like spiders, ants, bees, wasps, whatever. And they're just on tobacco plants, just like on soda cans is probably a couple rat droppings, because there's probably rat shit because the soda companies are infested with rats. It's funny because there are standards in the United States for soda candy bars. The FDA allows probably up to a couple insect legs, believe it or not, in candy bars at very minor content. Coffee, for instance, has carcinogens. Alcohol has carcinogens. Tobacco has carcinogens. But beetles are just natural part of the tobacco plant, because tobacco is a plant. Just like there are sometimes spiders in pipe tobacco. I've never had that, but there are spiders in pipe tobacco. Little spiders. Where do they come from? They come from the plants, the farm. So, yeah, a lot of farms will use pesticide, but you can't kill them all. I can guarantee you that soda can you're drinking probably had a very small amount of rat feces on it, because the soda companies can't keep all of them off. So, I mean, it's just a natural part of human life. Let's see. Why do they like cigars? Because that's what cigar beetles eat. They eat tobacco. And they will destroy your cigars. So you definitely want to freeze them if you have beetles. And you will know because there are little holes in the cigars. How to prevent them? Thanks. So how to prevent them? Keep your humidor or wine-door. If you're really paranoid about temperature, get a wine-door, which is a wine cooler. Really, for people who are living up north, if you're really concerned about cigars, and you live in a cold climate, store your cigars in a cold room, because then there's no risk of beetles. If you are living in a hot climate, keep them in an AC'd room, air-conditioned room, or use a wine-door, a wine cooler wine-door. If you think you've been attacked, definitely freeze your cigars immediately and salvage all you can. Just keep your temperature under 70 degrees, or 65, 70 degrees, 72 degrees, that kind of stuff. Really, when you go above 75, 76, the higher you go, you're increasing your odds. So as long as you're 70 degrees and above, you'll never have problems with it. It's just like there's a little bit of rat shit on your Pepsi can, so yeah. It's just a natural part of human life. What makes you decide whether to toast your cigars or not? So toasting a cigar just helps the burn a little bit. It helps the cigar self-ignite. And also, with the cigar, it does give you better flavor right off the bat. So if you just take a cigar, I'll show you right here. Yeah, it's tunneling. I probably should relight this. Damn. Okay. If you could take a cigar like this and go like this. Okay. This cigar is actually going out. I'm talking too much. So, yeah. So, let me just relight this. Cigar's on fire. So, toasting a cigar just helps the cigar self-ignite. And it also helps you get better flavor. If you were to take a cigar, a lighter or a match, as a match as a Cicero, and just burn the cigar, it chars it. So you will get better taste in general if you do toast your cigar. Also, it will burn better in general. I find my cigars do burn better in general. You don't have to. A lot of people don't. But it also looks kind of fancy. So if you want to be a fancy person, it also looks kind of fancy. Let's see. How do you figure out what humidity to set your wine door at? I personally keep my wine door between 60 and 65 degrees, just so it's a good temperature. I smoke most of the time in a pretty cool environment, a pretty dry environment, because I'm up north in Massachusetts. So, but you know, there's no one temperature. I mean, some people who live down south do great at 65 degrees. Some people who live in Massachusetts really have no choice and store their cigars at 60, 65 degrees, where it's very dry. Because even in the wintertime up here, even if you store them at 50 degrees, the humidity outside is so dry, there's no way, unless you freeze them, your wrappers are always split. For people who are living in a hot climate, you might want to store them at 65 degrees, 70 degrees. There's no one answer. And when you start smoking cigars, you will have to find out what your relative humidity is in your area, or your relative humidity in or your temperature. So I can't tell you that, and no one can tell you that. Okay. Let's see. Do you use active or passive humidification for your cigars? Passive. The majority of people use passive. Passive means it's a humidification device that's in your humidor, like a pillow, beads, whatever, and it's humidifying your cigars. It's keeping your cigars fresh. Active means it's actually spraying physical mist. The only time you want to use active is if you're using it on a very large humidor or a walk-in humidor. Walk-in humidors have active mist. In general, if you do that on a small humidor, it's going to mold. So, for a small little desktop humidor or wine door, passive. Most people, 99% of people, use passive, which is just like beads or whatever. Okay, 4 more questions. Why do you enjoy your Flor de Olivia cigars, big ass cigars, so much? Because they're cheap and they're really inexpensive. These are $40 about $40 a bundle, just over $40 a bundle on FamousSmoke.com. They're fantastic. Are they the best? No. And you know, for the price you pay for them, you get a good deal. They're not bad cigars. They're not like the crap you buy at 7-Eleven, the dried up crap you buy at 7-Eleven, but they're not, superb either. They're just nice, cheap cigars. Let's see. Have you ever found a cigar beetle? I have seen a beetle hole. I've never gotten beetles in my humidor, thankfully. I've seen pictures online of cigars that have been ruined by beetles, but I've never actually had a beetle infestation myself. But I've only been smoking cigars seriously for a few years. I may eventually. I don't know. 2 more questions. When was the last time you smoked a Cuban cigar? That would be, early 2012. Somebody sent me some Cuban cigars. So, yeah, late 2011, early 2012, for Christmas of 2011. I had a couple of Cubans. And the last question is, was it all that is cracked up to be? No. Cuban cigars are just like normal cigars, except with the exception of your $50 Cuban cigars been aged for 15 years. in general, a cigar is a cigar, like Sigmund Freud says. Unless you're paying for a 15-year age, high-quality, fancy-ass cigar, most Cuban cigars are normal cigars. They just have a different taste. Cuban tobacco tastes differently. Anyway, that is it. That is the fact video. So, anyway. Anyway, I finally did it. And that's the fact video. My mouth is really dry right now from talking too much. And yeah, so, very, very good video. I enjoyed doing it. I had 84 questions. This video's been going on for an hour and 11 minutes right now. So, anyway, I really enjoyed doing this video. I hope to do another fact video. You will probably see another fact video, maybe in 6 months or so. I might throw up another fact video this winter. But anyway, comment, rate, subscribe if you want to. Definitely stay updated, definitely subscribed. Very fun video to do. I know I probably could have gotten 100 more questions if I left it up for a couple more weeks. But I think most of you don't want to see a 3-hour video. Anyway, comment, rate, subscribe if you want to. And bye.